Bo Burnham's 8th Grade. This is a film in which he himself directed and wrote. This is actually his directorial debut. If you don't know Bo Burnham, he started off on YouTube, kind of a comedy musician, and decided to leave, kind of do lots of like live comedy stuff. This film follows a teenage girl as she's going through 8th grade, actually pretty much her final week of 8th grade. She's going to be a high schooler soon. We kind of follow her through a lot of her troubles and her nervousness and kind of the stereotypes of being in 8th grade and that change from middle school to high school, and also a lot of what comes with the internet when you're at this age. Probably the most prominent thing I can say about this film is how realistic it actually is. I mean, of course, Bo Burnham, someone who grew up with YouTube, and that's just how he grew up. He totally hits the mark perfectly with all the stereotypes, just like the phrases and sayings, the interactions between all the kids. Bo Burnham actually puts a lot of himself into the character of Kayla, which is played by Elsie Fisher, who actually does pretty well in this. I know she was nominated for a Golden Globe as only a 15-year-old, which is very, very awesome, very impressive. And I understand now that I've seen it. She has a very good performance. I can't discredit her for anything, because 15-year-old with the performance that she gave, I was very, very impressed. Bo Burnham did definitely put a lot of himself into the character of Kayla when it comes to... What are you... Just, okay, ignore the cat running around. Like, he's in the room this time that I have to record with. But either way, Bo Burnham definitely did kind of make the character of Kayla a lot like himself. He has said a lot in interviews before that he actually does have anxiety and such, and we see a lot of that in Kayla. She goes around to different events. The film is very good at making little small details or little small actions seem very, very huge, like someone, just like some 8th grader who's really picking apart every little thing that happens in their life, or someone with anxiety might do. One of the biggest examples of this is there's a pool party scene. Of course, she's very self-conscious about this. She's not really supposed to be there with like the popular kids' birthday party. She has like a panic attack in the bathroom, and it's just so they kind of put you in her head, and they use audio and music very well to make this small thing like her just going out to the pool party just a really big like a big moment. That's kind of what I would say is a very good explanation for the film as a whole. It's a small scale film in terms of, she's just one person, one 8th grader going through everything. It's not really big scale at all. Like, so the whole film is kind of highlighting all of the little details that really are much bigger for someone, at that age, such as like this dreamy boy that she wants to get together with, the pool party and such, lots of things with anxiety, a lot of the kind of awkward relationship with her parent, with her dad, her father figure. It's very well made and well written. Very, very nice job. When the writing portion from Bo on this one, it's very real. Everything feels very real, and I think that's partly because of the writing, partly because of the directing, and partly because of the acting. Of course, you can't really get that good of acting if the writing and directing aren't working well towards it, so I think Bo actually did a very good job with this one in terms of how realistic it really feels. You're gonna hear lots of those and like likes and and all those different things when they're just talking. The camera for the most part is not exactly used in any crazy ways or anything like that. The film pretty much consists of a lot of handhelds, long takes, and close-ups, and then you basically just morph those together in any different ways that you can. That's the majority of the cinematography in this film. But one of the cool things that I actually really like a lot is Bo is able to kind of isolate Kayla very, very well using both the camera and audio. There are multiple times when Kayla is talking to a specific character. They're both in the shot and it's a full long take, but the character she's talking to is completely blurred out the entire time, so the focus is completely on Kayla, and it just clearly shows that the person who she's talking to is just blocking her off. She's not actually able to communicate with them all the way. It's just a very, very nice way of kind of showing even more like how different she is and how blocked out she is. Ignore the cat. This one right here. This one's the culprit. He's the one that's ruining everything. Okay, I love you breaking. Okay. But yeah, the use of blur and audio very well to kind of, distance her from the rest of the characters. Another thing is the music. They definitely use the music very sparingly, definitely when it's necessary. The music is used in a lot of moments where it's really meant to portray, what's going on, and not really just like we're throwing background music or anything, but anytime you hear music, it's being used on purpose to make a scene really more dramatic, and the use of not having music in a lot of scenes and actually adding it in specific moments makes it, kind of more hard-hitting. The repetitiveness, there's a lot of repetitiveness with the music and the audio and such. Kayla herself makes a lot of YouTube videos, and they have this thing to kind of warn you that here comes another YouTube video. It's kind of like the ding, 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 like right before the camera starts recording. So every time you hear that, okay, I'm just going to ignore that in the background right now, but every time you hear that, you know that, another YouTube video is starting. Another use of repetitiveness with the audio or music is actually this boy crush that she has. Every time he comes in, another specific song plays, and it's like always accentuated with his eyes, and it's a specific choice that was made, very, very, very critical and specific with, where and when music and audio will play. All in all, this is definitely a very realistic film. It's pretty small scale, and I do think a lot of the times it can feel very repetitive, which naturally comes from the fact that, everything in here is such small details, so when you go over all these small details so many times, it might feel a little repetitive. Some people might get bored every so often. I think for the most part people won't really get bored, but I definitely like this film. It was very enjoyable, really nice to see Bo doing something so awesome. Elsie with a very good performance at her age. Overall, it was just a really, really fun, really good experience. I liked it a lot, and so Bo Burnham's 8th grade is going to be getting a 7 out of 10 from me. I feel like I'll probably watch this film like once more or so in the coming months. Nothing that I feel like I have to see over and over again to pick it apart. I think I got what I needed to for the most part from the first viewing, but it was definitely a very good time. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope the cat wasn't too much of a distraction in this video. Definitely go to see this film. It's a nice, entertaining film. At least just watch it once. Give it a try. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But if it relates to you, then it'll probably be a pretty great experience, just like it was for me. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.